The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Boston Bruins in Game 6 to force a Game 7 that's going to change everything about the Leafs' future. I'll get into how this changes everything and more on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. Make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. I'm not going to waste any more time, but let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is Leafs force Game 7. Now, obviously, the Toronto Maple Leafs win Game 6 against the Boston Bruins 2-1. I'm not going to go over stats too much. I'm just going to do a quick breakdown. The Toronto Maple Leafs outshoot the Boston Bruins 26-23. I want to focus on the fact that it took the Boston Bruins 12 minutes to get their second shot on net. This team was dominant out of the gates, and the Toronto Maple Leafs were out for blood. The Toronto Maple Leafs once again dominant on the faceoffs. The power play, we won't touch on that. Let's avoid that. Let's be happy today. Penalty minutes, the Leafs only drew one penalty against. You see the hits 72-57. The Leafs had 27 block shots, 15 giveaways, and 6 takeaways. This Leafs team was coming out firing from the start. We've seen them dominate on the offensive end, the defensive end, making sure Joesph Woll was not facing many pucks, and by many, I mean one shot against, which was on the PK. When you do look at the goal scoring, obviously we see William Nylander with 2. Morgan Geekie did get 1 just with 0.1 left on the clock. But Joesph Woll stole the show. William Nylander was dominant. Matthew Knies continued his excellent play. And this Leafs team, I don't even know how to put it into words. This team is looking for blood against the Boston Bruins. As I said, Joesph Woll stole the show with what should have been a shutout. He's not going to lose sleep over this because the Leafs got a win, extending their season. William Nylander with 2 goals, looking outstanding, getting one with a deflection off Charlie McAvoy, then a perfect pass from Matthew Knies straight to Nylander, beating Swayman 5-0. Now, just looking at this game alone, the Leafs were out for the win. They came out of the gates, they weren't slow off their feet. Even when they couldn't score on the power play, this team kept their foot on the pedal. This Boston team couldn't find the answers for guys like William Nylander, Matthew Knies on the forecheck, Joesph Woll stonewalling on the net, or brick walling if you want to say that as well. But this team looked different. They're playing different. You can tell that this team doesn't want to relapse on Game 7 losses. They force it. They're in the driver's seat. The Bruins are on the brink of maybe having another collapse. Now, this does get straight into the second topic today, which is the future is here. Now, when you do look at the Leafs scoring, obviously you had guys like William Nylander getting 2 goals, Matthew Knies with an assist, but I wanted to look at a few of these guys and just pinpoint what I mean by the future. Tyler Bertuzzi, a new addition to the Toronto Maple Leafs team. As much as he's snake-bitten getting on the score sheet, this guy has been an animal, drawing 2 penalties, staying in front of the net, forechecking hard, laying the hits. This guy has been everything the Leafs wanted. Max Domi, in my opinion, has been the most valuable player on this Leafs team when you look over both games as a whole. He can win you draws. He's filling in on the top line. This is a team where they have Pontus Holmberg looking outstanding. Nick Robertson has gotten his chances. John Tavares alone had 7 hits. Matthew Knies was 6. This team needs this win. Everything about this, from a Benoit to Liljegren, from a guy like Edmondson who has stepped into this Leafs team and looked like the shutdown guy they've needed. Everything about this team is trending towards slaying the dragon and getting it done. As I said, when you do look at this team and not look in the score sheet, you have a guy like Austin Matthews not in the lineup right now. This is a team playing without their 69 goal scorer. Once again, nice, but they're playing without a guy that almost had 70 goals in the season. You see guys like Max Domi in a 1-year deal, bleeding blue, pushing this team to get to the next point. You look at the young guys, Pontus Holmberg, 25 years old. Nick Robertson, 22. Noah Gregor's only 25, drawn into his first playoff game with the Leafs. The first playoff game of his career. You look at Bobby McMahon. He's not in the lineup. This team is built different. They're building for the future. You have these young pieces coming through, making the impact on this team. They're stepping in these big moments. Pontus Holmberg's holding down the third line as almost a rookie with this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Looking at the defensemen, obviously obviously you have a guy like Timothy Liljegren, who has been with the team for a while, but is only 25 years old. The biggest thing, and not saying just big because he's 6'3", but Benoit is only 25, signed fresh to his new extension. Joesph Woll. I mean, I could sit here and speak about Joesph Woll for about 45 minutes straight on how dominant this guy has been, coming in looking like Jordan Binnington when he stole the show in St. Louis that pushed them to the cup. Now, yes, there's going to be comments. You're a delusional Leafs fan, Mark. Mark, is this the year? I'm not going to say they're going to win the Stanley Cup. But this team is feeling different than many years. When you do just look at the years before this, years prior to this, everything like this, the Leafs are changing history. You obviously look back in 2012, 2013, they collapsed against the Boston Bruins. They lost 3 straight years, or they never qualified 3 straight years in the playoffs. They lost to the Capitals in the first round, lost in 7 to Boston once again. They lost in 7 to Boston a second year in a row. They lost to the Lightning. They lost to Boston. They've lost to every team, it feels like, in 7. First round, obviously, they got out last year. Since then, this team was trending up, taking the spiral down, going down 3-1 in the series. But when Boston messed up and let the Toronto Maple Leafs take that game in TD Garden to force Game 6, the Leafs started to feel the magic. This is not the years where the Leafs go up 3-1 in the series against the Montreal Canadiens and blow that lead. This is not the same type of year where the Toronto Maple Leafs go up 3-1 against the Boston Bruins and blow this. This is not the year where they finally force a Game 7 or up in the series against the Tampa Bay Lightning and lose. This team feels it. This is a different type of team. From guys, like I said, of the future, Joesph Woll coming in, Matthew Knies, just the amount of prospects they have in the system that are going to come up maybe next year, the year after. Looking at this list, you have guys like Easton Cowan that's about to make the brink of jumping into the NHL. Nikita Graboykin is a guy the Leafs just signed. He's hanging around with the team. He's soaking this in. Fraser Minton, a guy we haven't touched on in a long time that did make the Leafs out of training camp. You have guys like Tapi Nemia that's going to make this team. And like I said, call me delusional. Call me one of those Leafs fans that are jumping to conclusion. This team, you cannot tell me this team is the same team that would go up 3-1 in the series and collapse. You cannot tell me this is a team that plays down to their opponent's level. What they injected to this team, I don't know what Ryan Reeves has done in that locker room. I don't know a secret serum, the MJ's secret water bottle. I don't know what they've done. This team feels different. They're brewing for something magical. And Game 7 is going to be the deciding factor on if this team stays the way they are. Maybe they trade out a core guy if they collapse in Game 7. None of this matters unless they take Game 7. And I don't think the Bruins are ready for the pressure. They're not ready for what the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to come in. They have their demons to slay. They caught lightning in a bottle last year. But this is the final boss. This is the boss they've been waiting since 2012, 2013, 2011. All these years, Boston has pushed them around, and they forced the Game 7. While trailing in the series, they make it back to TD Garden, where they can change the history. They can make the future different. This could be the deciding factor if one of the core four is gone. This could be the deciding factor where legacies are made, and a guy like Matthew Knies hitting manhood. After a guy like Pasta shoved Riley, we see him shove back and say, "Come at me." That was the moment. This is building for something magical. The Leafs could go and get swept in the second round. They could get swept in the third round. They could lose in the Stanley Cup Finals. But this is where you build character. This Game 7 is, I'm at a loss for words, the chills. This Game 7 changes absolutely everything. And the Leafs need to win. What you guys thought on this? I know I went on a rant. I'm fired up. Are you guys fired up? Let me know down in the comments. Tell me to go to sleep. Whatever it might be. Just leave a comment. And talking about comments, we'll get in everyone's favorite topic, which is comments of the day. And the comment today comes from Jack Bronsnake, one of our leading commenters. He says, okay, I'm going to say this once. The Leafs. Woo! And Jack, I can't agree more. Make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button, leave a like. Are you watching Game 7? Are you bought in? Do you feel what is building with this team? If this happens, I'm saying it now. The Leafs make the finals. Something is going to give. Something has given this team. I'm passionate. Are you guys passionate? Let us know. But that'd be it for this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. You could be featured on the next episode. Are you bought in? Go Leafs go.